Hi, welcome back to my show, Okanagan Modified, and as promised, I'm featuring cars that aren't mine. And so for my first featured car, we have something very interesting here, and I'll introduce my friend Dave, and he can tell you what it is.
Hi there. Yeah, so what we have is a 1966 Ford T-5. It looks like a Mustang, but it's actually called a T-5 because it went to Germany, where Mustang name could not be used. So it was purchased in 1966 by an American serviceman at the PX, brought over to Germany. I could tell that because the speedometer is actually in miles per hour, even though it was in Europe. In 1972, a Canadian serviceman bought it and kept it and used it in Germany until the 80s. I picked it up in 1982 and have restored it several times and have had it for 42 years. It's my daily driver. The family has grown up in it. It's been across the country a number of times. I use it all year long. So this isn't a show car. This is a car that just is meant to drive.
And that's why I wanted to have this car on my show, because it's a real car that's not a trailer queen, and it's enjoyed, and it embodies everything that we share in the hobby.
Yeah. Now it drives like a 66, so on the road it's rough. It has no power steering, it has no power brakes, it has no power windows. There's no power anything on this. Yeah. And it is also a straight 6, so it's you know, it's not the desirable V8, but I'll tell you, on a tank of gas, it goes forever on a tank of gas. So these days, that's good stuff. See, when we had that conversation, I'm so jealous of you because I can't go anywhere with my car, although it's the same vintage. And you know, to have one that you can actually do what you do is, you know, what I really think is cool about this car. Yeah, well, I say I put gas in it once a month. Yeah. And I drive it pretty well every day around town and wherever I got to go. So you know, that's great that way. That's it. I drive it as a car. It's not a toy. I don't pamper it. It gets washed occasionally, and I say it starts. I love it because it starts every morning, no matter how long it's been sitting there for. So. Yeah. And how many of these cars do you think are in existence today? Okay, so if you go to the T5 registry right now, there are only 14 1966 fastbacks that are registered in the world. Wow. So, you know, having seen this, it's very rare to see in person. Yeah, and I say the badging is what makes it. There are different things on it. There's a special, I'll show you in a minute, the export tag, and that's one of the ways you can actually tell that it was an export vehicle. Wow, cool. Let's have a look at this car and its features. So tell me about the engine. Well, it's just a straight 6. In 1997, we had a rebuild. So we put a semi-performance cam in it because I drive it in the city a lot to work. So it gave me some bottom end power. It's got electronic electronic points in it. We've got the chrome air filter because the serial number of this car was very similar to the Sprint. Right around when the Sprints came out celebrating the millionth Mustang with a chrome air cleaner. You've got the export brace on it, which is a standard marking of a T5. And the most important thing about it actually is this little tag over here. And this is the export tag that only Mustangs exported have, and the little X on there. That little X is what tells you it's an export vehicle T5. Cool. Other than that, it's got the cross member is a 5/8 size instead of 1/2 inch. So it's got a bit more anti-sway devices in it. And then the car also has a 4-way flasher that was required in Europe. Yeah. I got a kick out of seeing this for the first time. There's an actual bag that holds the washer fluid in it. It's the original bag. I had never seen that before until I seen your car, and then I just saw a Ford Fairlane that had the same thing in Lumby the other day. So I thought, wow, that's 2 of them. I've never seen like that. And I guess back in the day they all had different batteries that you would top up. But, they had it. They had refillable batteries. So you know, there's some things you modernize that don't change the car, but. You buy what you can buy these days. Yeah, same thing with mine. I have just a conventional battery now too. Also under here you'll notice it actually has the 2-cylinder brake. Now originally the car only has single-cylinder braking on it, which was you pump the pedal once or twice and that's all you got. So you know, we put a lot of extra safety things into it nowadays. Good. So it's safe and it's maintained, and that's what matters. Yep. Get a close-up of that Hurst shifter. It's so iconic. The shifter in the Mustang is an interesting thing. This is a Hurst shifter, but I only put this in about 4 years ago. So my original shifter made it to almost 50 years. The shifters in Mustangs in the 1960s when they were built was an argument between the engineers and the finance people, the accountants. And the accountants won. So they put in a really, really poor shifter that in most Mustangs only lasted less than 10 years. Most people had to, because the metal was so weak in them. The fact that I got 50 years out of a Mustang shifter, people were amazed at, because no one had ever heard of that before.
Wow.
So I only had to put the Hearst in a few years ago, and actually I still have the original shifter in my basement because I wanted to hang on to it, because it's just an iconic piece of a Mustang.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm just a Hearst guy, so I see this and I just love it.
Yeah, let's say the interior, it's a parchment interior, which is the original interior with the blue trim. So you have the blue dash, the blue door panels, and the blue carpet. So it's all to the original VIN number of the car.
Very cool. It's stunning. It's really nice. So just an AM radio?
It's an AM radio. It's the original Ford AM radio. I say I pretty well kept the car as stock as I can keep it. There's no Bluetooth. There's no fancy stuff in here.
And it doesn't say Mustang on the steering wheel?
Nope, it just says Ford.
And did the other ones say that, or is that a T5 feature?
T5, they had to remove the word Mustang.
Right.
So that's
right.
And this is a custom wheel because it actually doesn't have the Mustang words removed. So all T5s would have that steering wheel.
Very cool. Very cool.
It's actually a 65 gas cap, and you'll notice that where the word Mustang has been, they've machined it out, replaced it with black. So again, all T5s have a 65 gas cap that only says Ford on it.
Cool. A few little iconic clips. Yeah.
It's actually.
Here's the German manual. Can you tell me about the color?
Yeah, so this is a silver blue, 66 color. There weren't many cars that were done in silver blue. Everybody wanted red, white, or black. So there's a few painted this way, but it's a color that I like because it is different, and it changes color in the sunlight too. Right now, this looks a little bit more silvery and gray than a blue, but in a bright sunlight, it goes blue.
And you were mentioning to me that these louvers are actually functional.
Right, yeah. So the car's cool. You can be doing 60, 70 miles an hour. You put your window down, and if you look at it, there's a little curve here on the fiberglass. The fiberglass curves, and then the air goes into the louvers. So you actually get a little tickle of air on the back of your neck, and there's no sound.
Cool.
It's great to be able to drive on a hot day that way.
Excellent. That was a lot of fun. It was only supposed to be about a 3-minute video, but it was too good to not include all these cool details. So there is a T5 registry. You can check it out online. Thanks so much, Dave, for sharing your car with us. It's the first of many featured cars on my channel, and I really appreciate that you took the time and did that with me. And if anybody is interested in model railroads and also simulated model railroads and stuff like that, please check out the link for Dave's YouTube channel as well, and his website, which I'm going to include. Thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned.